Hello and welcome to the Performers Who Pivot podcast, brought to you by your host Grace Francis. This podcast is for actors and performers who are navigating two careers at the same time. Maybe one performing arts career and one business to fall back on, or a business to have alongside your performing arts career, or perhaps you want to leave the performing arts industry altogether but don't want to retrain, so you are exploring how to progress using the skills you already have. Today's episode is sponsored by Dramed. Yes, that's my very own company sponsoring this episode. In this episode of the Performers Who Pivot podcast, I welcome Taja Morgan to the show. Taja is the Ealing franchisee of Frenzy Drama. Frenzy Drama provide popular drama classes for children from 18 months to 18 years of age. Taja trained as an actor and is also building her acting career through her business journey. I love Taja's drive and mix of logic and risk-taking. I know that for the person growing the business and progressing the dream, it doesn't always feel like you are making huge moves, but I can see with Taja that she definitely is. A little disclaimer, when I first started these podcasts, I called them Performers in Business, so that's why we're introducing them as the Performers in Business podcast at this point. Without further ado, let's begin our episode with Taja Morgan. So we have Taja on the podcast today. Welcome, Taja, to the Performers in Business podcast. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
It's so lovely to have you. So me and Taja met online, I'd say, a few months back, maybe even more than that, longer than that, because we're both running children's activity businesses. We're both actors and we're in the same area. We're in the West London area and we have met up before and kept in touch. And I personally am really inspired by Taja's journey. She's really young and she's just kind of come into this world of performing and business, headstrong. She knows what she wants. So Taja, can you tell us a bit about your background? Should we start with you telling us a bit about your background, your cultural background?
Yeah, sure. So I would say like my cultural background, can't even talk. My cultural background in terms of like country, I'm from Jamaican and Nigerian heritage, but I was brought up in a Jamaican household. So I was living with my mum and my two little sisters, so I'm the eldest out of my family. But once I moved back from uni, I just moved into my grandparents' house to basically have my own room and just to stay with them, to kind of look after them as well in a way. So I was born in Ealing and I grew up in Southall in an estate, on a council estate. I don't really like to use the term council estate because I know everyone has like this kind of stereotypical feel, like world of what they think it is, but it was honestly nothing like that. It was probably the best things I've ever done. Like growing up on a council estate was just so much fun, and I felt like we all were a community, playing outside, and I could play out until it got a little bit darker because everyone felt safe. We all knew each other and there was just like a real good community feel. I know they're trying to get rid of estates now anyway, but no, I wouldn't change it for the world where I grew up. So, yeah.
I love that, and I could have a whole conversation with you on estates. And I too grew up in an estate in Southall, and yeah, when I kind of got to a certain age, I got really embarrassed by it for a little bit. I felt like there was just this stigma of what an estate person or someone from an estate is like. But yeah, looking back, I feel like no, that shaped me. And you have a community and just the people and the families are around. I love that you've kind of arrived at that place a lot sooner, than I had, like owning your upbringing and loving it. Okay, so can you tell us a bit about who you are and what you do? And perhaps, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so, oh God, what was there really to say? So alongside running my business, I am an actor. So I do acting as well. I've been acting since I was like really young, since the age of 6, going to like performing arts schools every weekend. And then I studied theatre arts in university. And during that time, I was also going to a part-time acting school. And then once I graduated, I then thought to run my own, like set up my own business, set up the franchise. That was something I always wanted to do anyway, alongside my acting. It was always my dream to do. Obviously done it way sooner than I thought I would, which I am absolutely proud of doing. So yeah, like with my acting, I haven't done anything professional per se. A lot of it has been like just short films. Currently just finished filming my full long film, playing a lead role in Manchester. Yeah, I think that's really it.
Congratulations on your
Thank you.
because that is an achievement, like getting any acting work and just being able to add experience to your portfolio is really important as an actor, as a performer. So yeah, I mean, and I would have already touched on this in my intro and given people a good picture of who you are and what you do, but it's really lovely to hear that from your own words. So can you tell me, like you said that you always knew that you wanted to have a franchise or have a business?
No, have a business.
Okay, have a business
alongside
acting. Like where was that? Where did you conceive the idea of you could become a performer? And then separately from that, where did business come into it?
Growing up, everyone around me knew that I wanted to do performing, family, friends, teachers, but I always got told that as an actor it's really hard to have continuous work, so you should always have a plan B, as they say. Obviously I'm a very passionate actor, so I always knew that acting would always come first. But after some thinking, I did think, you know what, it is true. And I always had kind of like a business like head, like I was quite business minded, basically. Like I always knew that I would love to do something to do with theatre arts. I always wanted to help my community, give back to my community. So it kind of stemmed from that in a way, and just working with young people. So that all of that kind of together created performing arts business for young people.
So you knew that if you went into business, it would be around the work that you do. Yeah. It would be around performing arts. It would complement performing arts. And when you say that your family always knew that you wanted to be a performer, like where did that come from? What did 4-year-old Taja look like? Like when did this happen?
It was weird because when I first said that that's what I want to get into, I think they were all quite surprised because I was such a shy girl. Like the person today compared to when I was like in primary school, completely different. I was so shy. I was so timid. But I don't know, I think watching TV and watching films, I used to see children. I used to be like, yeah, I want to be that child on the TV. So I remember a flyer came through my primary school to go to Stagecoach. And I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, this looks like so much fun. And then she was like, yeah, cool. Like, we'll send you there. She kind of just forgot about it. Then it came through again. And I was like, Mom, like, come, like, I really want to do this. And then eventually she was like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's send you there. And I think it was just weird how it all kind of happened. So I started going and I just really enjoyed it. And it really took me out of my shell. It's just like it was always meant to be in a way.
I love that. And I really love in particular how we as children and how children kind of discover who they want to be in the world and then how that gets nurtured. So you had flyers pop through the door from Stagecoach. That's interesting to hear. We know that flyers through the door possibly works then for the young child at home who wants to become a performer. How did your family support you? Did they support you? Was there any conflict there? Or was it just full support and nurturing what you wanted to explore there?
No, I had full support from everyone, particularly my mum and my grandma. My grandma is always, from young, she's always wanted her grandchildren to do extracurricular activities. So anything that's good for us, that keeps us active, she's fully supporting it. And same with my mum, to be honest. So yeah, there was full support from everyone, definitely.
That's beautiful. Okay, so what's your first memory as a performer?
Oh, it's funny that you asked that. Okay, so with Stagecoach, we used to do performances, like big shows on in the theatre, every year actually. So I remember that I never really got the lead roles. I think because I was quite young as well, and I was still quite shy. So I used to get like a lot of ensemble roles, and then as I like gradually got older, they would give me a lot more of like the maybe co-leading roles or supporting actor roles and things like that. And then I remember one year we was doing the production of Wicked, and I auditioned for the part of Elphaba, and I got it, and I was so happy. Like, I was amazed. I can't sing, so I really don't know how the singing went as an audience, but I was so happy. It's probably one of the best feelings ever. So they painted me all green, and I had like my ponytail, and we done it in Waterman's Theatre. So that's quite a big theatre on the stage. And when I told my mum, she was ecstatic. She comes to all my performances anyway, but she made sure that she got there early for that performance in particular. So yeah, that was probably one of my best childhood memories that I can remember to do with acting.
I love that. And they always are really great childhood memories, like that time when that moment where you're standing up on the stage and you're performing and you've got all that support, and gosh, the amount of self-esteem that builds if you've got the right team and people around you. And did you have any inspirations, and do you have any inspirations both in performing arts and in business?
Inspirations. In terms of acting, it would be Viola Davis, big actor. I really love her acting. I like how she can play any character, and her characters are normally like the powerful Black woman. I love that. And in terms of business, I don't really have anyone in particular, if I'm being completely honest. I think my manager, Kyle, who has started up Frenzy, she would probably be one of my inspirations. Just like, I see her as more of a mentor and a friend more than a manager per se. And just seeing kind of how she grew the business, that does inspire me, definitely. Yeah.
And so those sound like they're your inspirations now for acting and business. Who were your inspirations back then, back when you was, watching TV as a child and creating that idea that you wanted to also have a business to complement your career in the arts?
I didn't really have anyone in particular. I used to watch Disney Channel a lot. So I think Raven in That's So Raven was probably a big inspiration for me. And also because she was one of like the Black lead female roles on Disney Channel. So yeah, I really wanted to be on that show, if I was being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I find that so interesting as well. Like, just representation, like this is obviously, as we know, it's so important in all our industries. And, we like to think things are getting better now. But yeah, back then, who was, you're a Black woman, who was your Black child actor inspirations? And so we had Raven. Can you recall anyone else? I mean, there was good shows back then. But yeah, I suppose for the young child actor, yeah. Raven.
You had like Trouble, so you had like My Wife and Kids and like All of Us, One on One. But as like a child, yeah, Disney Channel, That's So Raven would have been mine.
And they are all predominantly American shows, US shows. I struggled to access cable TV when I was a child. My mum just didn't have the money. So yeah, right now I'm trying to think who was like the British inspirations for us at that age. I say us, I'm older than you.
I can't think.
Okay, so you run Frenzy Drama Ealing. Can you tell us a bit about Frenzy Drama?
Yeah, so we run private and public classes. All our classes are for ages 18 months up until 18 years, but my franchise in particular only goes up to the age of 13 years. So I go into nurseries and I lead classes with them on a weekday, and then I run preschool classes on a weekend, and then youth theatre classes weekday evenings after school.
Amazing. And so you decided that going down a franchise route, so that's you purchasing a franchise. And just for anyone who doesn't know, a franchise is basically someone who set up a concept to run a business. They're running a business, they've got the concept, and they kind of package it up in a box. It's a business in a box. They sell it on to other people who fit the brand, who are a brand fit for the brand, who can go off and take that brand, those classes into whatever part of the world that they are in and grow it successfully in their area. So you decided that after uni, is that correct? Like,
yeah.
can you take us to that point of when you decided that that was a path that you wanted to explore and go down and invest in?
Sure. So yeah, like I said, I always wanted to run a business. That was always something that was on my mind, but I never knew how to start it. And I knew that you need money, to be honest, to actually start up your own business. So during uni, I was working for like work experience placement. I was working as a facilitator, one with a women's prison and then another with an all-inclusive theatre company. So working, just doing drama with different kind of ages helped my passion for working with young people, doing drama. It grew even more. So once I left, I just started Googling. To be honest, I kind of wanted to do teaching. So like maybe like as a weekend job or in a performing arts school during the week, just doing a bit of teaching just to like build up my experience. And then I came across Frenzy on Indeed and it said to run a franchise. And the price of opening the franchise wasn't that expensive. It was within my budget. Mm-hmm. I'd never heard of it. So at first I was a little bit skeptical because I'd never heard of this drama school. But once I started speaking to Kyle, who is the owner, she really reassured me, and I just trusted her quite soon when we started speaking. And I told her that, I have some experience, but I don't have a lot of experience. I've never taught a drama class for people. I've always like co-leaded, assisted, things like that. But I have like a lot of experience in acting. And I think she trusted me as well. It kind of just went hand in hand. And then from then, I obviously spoke to family and friends because it is a lot of money to invest in. And they all said, if you have the money, just go for it. This is something that you want to do. So I just went along and done it. Yeah.
That's amazing. And how long where are you now? How long have you been doing Frenzy Drama for now?
It's been 2 years. So I opened it the end of 2018. And then I started my first class the beginning of 2019.
You said that you invested in Frenzy Drama, the Ealing franchise. Can you tell us about that? Like what, in terms of like, did you save up for the money? Like, did you work to have that investment? Did you keep on working as you had this business to grow? Like, what did that look like for you? What was the work balance like with the entrepreneurial kind of decision?
In terms of how I invested the money, it was a mixture of things. So I was always quite good at saving. So from when I got my first like proper job when I was 17, I just started saving, like putting a little bit of money in my saving account every so often. My grandparents also, both my grandma and granddad, they both started saving for me and my siblings from when we were born. So they just started putting like little bits of like money into our accounts. So that all accumulated. When I turned 21, no, it wasn't 21. When I turned 18, my granddad gave me his savings. And then, but way before that, my grandma gave me her savings as well. So that's what I used my franchise fee to, like, from, not all of it, but some of it, I used it towards that.
I love that. And I love that it sounds like you have been raised with a good financial attitude, which is so important. I wasn't. My parents, I love them, but they could have definitely been better with money. And there was a lot of habits that I inherited, that I had to unlearn. So it sounds like you've kind of had good, financial habits from early, which is key, isn't it? And that's probably fundamental to your success, your early success. So that's lovely. Well done to your parents, and bless your grandparents for doing that as well. Amazing. And where are you now? Like what have you, let's start with your wins. What's your wins in your business to date?
I would say the amount of customers I have, the amount of children I have in the business, considering I basically didn't work for a whole year on Frenzy. Obviously, I was doing things behind the scenes, but teaching wise, because of COVID, I wasn't able to teach. So knowing that, not being able to teach for a whole year and then coming back stronger than I've ever been, profit wise, loyal customers, it's been a massive blessing.
That is really great to hear. And can you tell me a bit about your challenges? So you touched on that we've had COVID. If that's a challenge, was that a challenge? And how did you overcome them?
So we started by doing online classes, obviously to still have some sort of income coming in. And also because we don't want the children to not be doing anything, it's a massive strain on them as well. That wasn't really working. So we stopped doing online classes, and then we just basically focused heavily on building up our social media presence. And so it was a struggle because I missed teaching, and I just felt like I was quite scared that coming back to our face-to-face classes, a lot of my customers would have left. Yeah. They probably were a bit nervous, it being COVID. We don't really want to, kind of interact with other people. And, some people just say, oh, it's a new year. I kind of want my child to try something new. So all of those kind of thoughts were going through my mind. So overcoming the challenge, I just say it was definitely keeping up with the social media presence and constantly checking in with my customers. So sending emails, sending activities for the children to do, and things like that really helped.
That's amazing. Why do you think it didn't work teaching online? Because some people got quite successful, or it worked out for them pivoting online. What do you think the problem was there? Was it not enough customers?
Yeah, it was definitely not enough customers. And then like the first few weeks it was working. And then after that, I had like parents emailing me saying that the children aren't really enjoying it as much. They're starting to lose lack of attention. And things like that. I think a lot of the children that I have in my class are very hands-on. They like physical, they like presence. A lot of the children come to build up their confidence. And I feel like working online, is it really building up your confidence? Not as much. So I just think it just wasn't working for our customers.
Yeah, I definitely think for clubs like Drama, a lot of parents do send their children there because they need to let out, they need to express themselves. They need to let out their energy. So that makes sense. Can you tell us about your big picture goal? Like, what do you want? Where are you going? What do you want in life?
In life, I'd say acting is like a huge thing for me. Just to act like around the world, being able to go to different countries, put on performances, act on TV, film. And then my business side would definitely be to branch out, eventually be able to set up my own business as well. And just to, my main aim is to, I know for me, because I grew up in a low-income family, I know there's a lot of other children that have grown up in low-income families and they can't go to drama school, go to performing arts school and things like that because they don't have the money to do that. So I would love to be able to accommodate those particular young people from around the world, if I'm being completely honest, opening up branches in different countries, in different cities, and having an outlet for them to express themselves. That's my massive big picture.
I love that. And two thoughts pop into my head there. So this is the second interview that I have that's happening on the Performers in Business podcast. And the first guest that we had on, Tanya, she again said the same thing. And I believe the same thing in my work, kind of want to get as far as wide as possible and to reach all children. Regardless of their, background and their socioeconomic background. And I've spoken to other people who run businesses, creative-based businesses for children. Again, they have the same goal. And I just wonder, wow, if we all kind of pulled together, what kind of impact we would have. I think we're all having a lot of impact in our areas anyway, but there's just something about how do we kind of bring this all together and just support each other, because it's good work. And secondly, when you say about your acting and you wanting to go global, once upon a time I would hear something like that and be like, that sounds really big and unrealistic. It sounds like an unrealistic goal. However, hearing you say that now, the feeling is, yeah, do it. You can do it. I am seeing more and more people who sat in front of me saying that their goal is to reach far and wide, and I'm watching them on the television, I'm watching them in movies. There's, so many people that I'd love to bring on this podcast as well, just about acting, who when they first started, I didn't have a clue about acting. When I met them, didn't have a clue, and now they're just absolutely smashing their goals. So yeah, it is possible. Have you got an expander for that? I know you said Viola Davis. I often talk about people who make us believe that we can do it because we can relate to them and they're doing it too.
So I'd say, don't want to say her name wrong, but Letitia, is that how you say it? I really hope that's
Letitia or Letitia, right? We are.
Yeah. God, I I hope that's her name, Letitia or Letitia. I'm not sure which one. Yeah, right. Her that was in Black Panther and Steve McQueen's films as well. She would be my UK inspiration. Around the same age as me, came from the same drama school as me, shows that it is possible.
She is phenomenal. How old are you, Taja?
24.
Okay. Letitia's, I went to drama school with her. We were in the same class.
So she's your age?
She's not my age. She was always younger than me, but she's definitely older than you.
Oh, wow. Okay, maybe because she's got such a young baby face.
She is young, yeah. She does have a baby face. But yeah, she's just smashed it. She's a phenomenal actor. Oh gosh, love it. Okay, so you're 86 years old. Can you imagine yourself at around the age of 86? Can you? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be that age. You might have another age that kind of feels right. But you're 86 or an otherwise old age, and you are contemplating life, standing in your most favourite spot in the world. Can you describe yourself? Can you describe where you are, what you look like, what you're wearing?
Okay, I said imagine 86-year-old me. Can't really imagine 86-year-old me, but we're gonna try. I'd say the beach. I love the beach. I imagine my 86-year-old has definitely done a lot of traveling in her 86 years of life. So maybe she's like found this spot now that she just wants to go to on holiday, just for a little break, since she's most probably retired by then. And she's standing in close to the water. So the water's like hitting off her feet. Her feet is like sinking into the sand. And the tide's quite far out now because it's like the sun's setting. She likes to watch the sunset, and she's just standing there, just taking in the heat, taking in the breeze now since it's getting a bit cooler. And she's just like thinking about life, just thinking about everything that she's gone through. A bit morbid, but I know by then, like, there's going to be people in her life, family, friends that may have already passed on. So she's just enjoying, the last how many ever years she has left. And she's happy because she's built a family, she's got married, she's got grandkids, possibly even great grandchildren as well. What's the question again?
No, that was part one, and you went on. I love that. Part two, which would probably be helpful to your description, is what does 86-year-old Taja say that she has achieved in life to date? So we know she's rich in family.
Yeah,
she's got children, she's got grandchildren and great grandchildren. What else has she achieved in life today? What's she reflecting on?
Her business has been very successful, very hard to get to that success, but she eventually achieved it. Acting wise, she done everything that she wanted to do. And she's just reflecting on all of that and just seeing how far she came. I think she's probably achieved more than she even thought was possible to achieve.
Right.
And that's what she's done. And yeah, I think her business is still going. Obviously, she's not running it anymore, but she is still in her name. And yeah.
I love that you said that. And sometimes, I mean, when I send a wish to somebody or a prayer for somebody, I'll say, I hope that you achieve the kind of dreams that you can't even imagine yet. So I love that she's become more successful than she could even anticipate. And what age did her, and you said that it was work, what age does her business take off, like really take off? And the same with acting. What age was she when she got her first role, and what role was it?
Ooh, details. Oh gosh. I would say her first like acting role would have been late 20s. Role. You know, I've always said that I wanted my first role to be a TV show because I like the consistency of, working on a TV show. So I think it would have been a UK TV show, that something that we've never seen before, because I feel like there's not a lot of, I actually had a conversation about this with my friends. There's not a lot of Black rom-com UK TV shows. Like, you know, you get a lot of like the American ones. We don't have any in the UK. So I think I would love to do something like that.
I love that. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, because it gives us an idea of your goals. Back at the age that you are now, what advice would you give to your younger self or anyone else who relates to your journey of navigating performing arts as a career?
Okay, so not the business side, the actual like performing side.
All of it. You making it work. You all of it. I mean, do you feel like your business, and this is probably a good question, I feel like I've gone into business to support my arts career, as well as doing all the other good stuff that I want to do and want to create for children. It helps me have flexibility and work-life balance. It helps me to have control of my work-life schedule, working for myself. So yeah, what do you that's probably not your story. You probably don't need, you're probably not an entrepreneur to support your performing arts career. It sounds like probably you kind of just enjoy both. But what advice would you give to your younger self? Your younger self knows where you were going. What would you change? What advice would you give to your younger self?
So for my younger self, I would say just being consistent. Running a business and being a performer, money-wise, it will be a struggle, because I feel like with performing in particular, you need to put in money to get, with performing and business, you need to put in money to get out. And some people may not be as lucky as I was to have that starting, finance. Some people literally have to work from the ground up, and that's both okay. It is possible. There was times like at the beginning of my business journey, I wasn't making any profit. I was literally like just putting in, and my savings was near to nothing. It's only now with the consistent hard work, I've started to actually make a profit from it. And that's because I have a goal. I have like I always say, if you have a goal, make it big. Make your dream, make your goal big, because you will strive even harder to get there. Because a lot of people you tell your goals to, they won't believe you. They're not going to believe that you're going to make it. And I think by you working hard and proving them wrong, there's some sort of satisfaction in that, So I'd say, consistent is key. With performing, you're not always going to get jobs. You're not always going to get performing jobs, but be consistently training. You may not even be able to afford to go to drama school, but sit at home, watch YouTube vids. There's always YouTube vids on acting. Start learning monologues and just record yourself, every week to 2 weeks, just to, keep that training going. I've had moments in my life where because I was like so focused on uni, I couldn't really focus on my acting. So every time when I take like a year out of acting, it's like I'm starting again. And it does get hard. It gets frustrating. So I say, just keep being consistent. I wish I was consistent from when I started acting, because I probably would have been further than I am now, but it's okay. I'm still young. I still have time. And if you got like acting friends, get your acting friends together on a weekend, just go through monologues with each other. I say you yourself have to basically don't wait on anyone. Don't rely on anyone. You make the work for yourself. I have friends that are very passionate about directing, about photography, about acting. We get together, we create our own short films, we create our own projects. And that's something that you need to do, because the way the world is working right now, it's all it's very independent. No one's really waiting on anyone. No one's waiting for that big break. They're all creating their works themselves, and they're getting very far with it. So I'd say, yeah, just keep doing that. That's a lot that said, but yeah.
No, I love that. And it's so true. And that's what we want. We want detail. We want you to kind of build a picture for us. And yeah, absolutely. I feel like when I first got into acting, I had my agent, and I was just waiting on them. They were putting me up for work. And in the meantime, I was doing jobs that I hated, like call center work. And I do share this story quite a lot. Call center work was soul destroying. I hated it with a passion, and it just wasn't working, waiting for the jobs to come through this agent. And like just kind of going off and creating my own things, creating my own business, creating this podcast, writing books. I turn around, I look behind me, and I have assets. I have things that have made Grace. So absolutely, I think the earlier that you can start just creating with what you've got and the people that you've got around you, and that is key as well. No woman, no man is an island. And I said this in the last episode, everything that we see, it takes teamwork. Nobody's alone. You're not sitting here working alone. That the laptop that you're using took a whole team, a whole empire of people to get that laptop to you. So yeah, it's just acknowledging that. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. Can you tell us what you have got that we can look forward to, if anything? Tell us about this film or your classes. Where can we find you?
Yeah, sure. So with the film, that was the last big film that I've done. I literally done a short film this weekend gone. But in terms of the film that I done in Manchester, it's a Christian-based film. And I don't really want to say too much without saying too much, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a Christian-based film, and it will resonate a lot with the youths, which is why the director decided to do it. It's basically just seeing so there's like a main character who's a male from London. He's part of the gang life, and I'm the person that helps him to find Christ. And once he finds Christ, his life changes for the better. So yeah, it's a really beautiful film. Something that I'm not sure where it'll be out on, but it'll be coming out next year. So if you just head over to my Instagram page, you'll find more. We'll be keeping you updated anyway. And then for our business, for Frenzy, we will be running a preschool, we normally do special classes during half terms and stuff. So we'll be running a Halloween themed preschool session during the half term, which I'll be sending details about soon. But for our normal classes that we run, you can find us on our Instagram page, Frenzy Drama Ealing, and Facebook Frenzy Drama Ealing too. Yeah.
I love that. And all of those will be linked below. Do you have any resources that you recommend? Any books, anything that's kind of inspired you so far that you can share with our listeners? And we'll link it below. Do
you know the one that I'm very close to finishing that you recommended to me actually was How to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Love it. I was listening to what is it? It's not ebook. The one that Audible. You listen to, Audible book. Yeah. Every day when I'm driving, going to work, keeps me motivated. Love it.
It's a great book. It's Rachel, I believe her name is, but I could be wrong. I will link the book below. It's a phenomenal book. You have to get this book. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Taja, for joining us and sharing your journey, your goals, and your challenges, your wins, your wisdom. We are rooting for you. I am rooting for you.
Thank you.
We're following your journey. Please head over, give Taja a follow, support her classes where you can, especially if you are in West London. And yeah, we will, I guess, keep in touch and meet up for a coffee soon.
100%. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been lovely.
Thanks, Taja.
I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did. Please please leave your comments, please send us any questions you may have. I'm more than happy to answer, and I look forward to sharing the next one with you. Bye for now.